Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're going to talk about and actually demonstrate and interact with TeamSpeak and the participants in the TeamSpeak Morse Code educational program. TeamSpeak is a computer-driven, internet-driven piece of software that allows us to communicate back and forth using our voice and not using HF or no radio waves. So we don't have to worry about QRM, we don't have to worry about sunspots or eclipses. We just worry about plugging into the internet, and if the internet is up, we are actually communicating. Yes, Mel.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the TeamSpeak website where your programs will be located.
I'm going to sit down, Mel.
Yes. So let me just do a quick Google search here. Anyway, this is the TeamSpeak program, the downloads for it. Just so that you know, the TeamSpeak server that supports our operation is actually operated by Ralph Smith at his home and on a computer that he's got set up. He has the server software, so basically everything we're doing is within the club. What you guys, or anybody that wants to operate their system at home, what you're going to download is the client software. And let's see if I can do this right. Okay, what's the magic here? How do you scroll down?
Oh, you can use the mouse.
Oh. I mean, how do I scroll down?
Two fingers. Push it the other way,
Oh, okay. Anyway, the programs they have available for Windows, the 32-bit or the 64-bit. They've got the Mac OS, there's a Linux version, also 32 and 64-bit. There's an Android mobile client and an iOS program. Now, I'm not going to actually download these programs right now because that would take a few minutes longer than I want to do. But I just wanted to show you what the page looks like. This is the little logo for it, so that you know you're on the right place. The client programs are free. You can just download it and put it on your computer. The server program that's being used is also a free version which supports up to 32 users. And I think that's what Ralph has at his home right now. There are other versions for nonprofit organizations and also for commercial applications. So let me get out of this. And let's go to the actual TeamSpeak program. Okay, this is the basic window that's going to open up when you start the program. On the Apple program, you can go in and set the preferences for your audio system. The two things that you want to play with are the playback, where you can actually play a test sound.
Ding your playback sound system.
And it'll just
Ding your
repeat,
playback sound system.
so that I know that I got the volume set about right. If it's not, I can adjust the sliders on the screen. The other thing that you can do is also check your microphone to see that your microphone is working correctly. And one of the important things to keep in mind is that you want to use the push-to-talk feature. When you use the push-to-talk, what you're going to do is select a key on the keyboard that's going to basically function like your microphone push-to-talk. When you select it the first time, it's going to ask you what key do you want to use. On the Apple, it's being used with the Command key. He's already got that set up on here. And on a Windows system, you probably want to use the alternate key because it's not used by many programs. The basic thing is you want to use a key that you're not going to be constantly hitting if you're trying to type stuff into a notepad or something like that. So those are really the only two things you have to mess with. All these other settings you don't really have to get involved with. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to set up, when you first start the program, it's going to ask you for a server that you're going to tie into. What you're going to do initially is do the add bookmarks if you've never done it before. If you've already set up bookmarks, you can use the manage bookmarks function, which is basically like editing the current versions of these bookmarks. Down here, we've actually got two of them set up. But the one that I want to show you right now is for the CWNet. This label is, all this information, by the way, is on our website too. But anyway, the label for the CWNet is just anything you want to put in so that when you see it in the menu, you'll know what it is. This line right here for the address is the server that we're going to connect to, which is the teamspeak.ralphsmith.org. Down here, you're going to put in a nickname. This is the name that's going to appear in the list as different people are logged in. In this case, we've got Pete set up with his call sign, and then you put the name in there. The reason you put the name in is because some people are going to log in that won't know who K6BFA is, so it's just a little handy to do that. The server password would be the K4HTA, which is listed, and then the default channel, excuse me, the default channel is the CWNet channel which Ralph has already set up on his server. And it's going to look exactly like this. It'll be CW space NET. The channel password is K4HTA, just like the other one. And then you just select OK, and you can get out of that. And if you're going to have other bookmarks, you can add those in as you need to. So now that we've got the bookmark set up, I can go to the bookmark. This is the CWNet that I put in as a label for that. If I click it, it's going to log into the server.
From the UK, period. Oh, Pete's here.
Yeah, Pete is here.
Okay, stand by, everybody.
Hi, Pete.
They're playing in the background here.
That's Mel, really.
Anyway, the CWNet.
I was just going to say my timing was off.
But you still gave it good enough to where we pretty much got it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I got 4 out of 5 words.
Sound muted.
Anyway, right now we've got John Transu's on. This is Pete's computer. We got Sheila on. Kathy is actually up in Montana, in the western part of Montana, and Jason is over in the UK. So these are the people that are currently online, or on our little net. So
Yes.
now what do you want to do?
We have a question.
Yes.
I noticed you're running on an Apple. Is that an Apple-specific application?
No,
Available for Windows
you
as
can
well?
you can load it for Windows, the Apple, the Android,
All those downloads.
all those downloads that I showed you. Any one of you.
A family of processes.
Yeah, there's right. So that'll help you with different machines.
Now, this is a halfway point. Are there any questions about what just happened or what we're going to do with what we just did? Do you understand what's going on here? Because it could be confusing when we get into the next phase of this, that if you don't really understand what happened and what we're doing here.
All we've done so far is set up so that when we have a meeting, we can get on and connect.
Right.
You would connect then through an audio device that you have next to your computer.
Microphone and speaker.
The microphone is in here, the speaker is in here, and it's an audio device. This happens to be a
No
code
connection.
practice oscillator. No wires, wireless, right? But you can also use the side tone on your transceiver. As long as the side tone is close to the microphone, you can use it. And that's a very cheap way of doing it. And you have the control of the tone and the control of the speed, just as you do with the CPO that we have right here. So what we're going to do, or what we do on Wednesday nights, and this is the whole idea of this, is to encourage you to load the software, stick your toe in the water, and come and join us with your code practice oscillator. So the only thing you have to do when you join us is do this. And then you will be on with us. And you will be one of the crew, and your toe is now in the water. If you go there and you join us on Wednesday night and you do this, you're not joining us. You're not there. You've got to take that step. You've got to take that leap and just make a noise. And then you will feel like you made the noise, and then we will work from there on. Now, all the folks that you see up there are currently on this particular network, and we can talk with any of them, and they can talk with us. It's better not to talk at the same time. And you'll notice that when we push the, you'll see here in a minute when Mel hits the command key, that the little button next to my name will change color. It'll go from a dark blue to a light blue, so you know that it's me that's talking, or that's me that's actually sending the code.
Everybody will do
Everybody, because everybody's going to look at the screen just exactly like that. It's exactly like that, except in this case, my name is dark. If you were on there, John, your name would be dark, and when you hit your command key, it would change the color of that little button. So now, here we are. Everybody's listening. They want to hear your beep. And the thing that you just got to start with is make that first beep. Know that the system is working, and know that you can actually get in and make a sound. And then from there, yes, John?
Is there a mechanism for automatically having your tones turn on the mic, like a box for the...
Well, you missed something right at the very beginning.
Okay.
Vox is out. And the reason Vox is out is because the dog in the background is going to trigger your mic, and then we're going to hear your TV set while we're trying to do other stuff.
I was asking about a device on a key, so the key triggers it, not audio tones, not an audio sound.
It's a key when I push.
Yeah, when he hits the command key.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
paddles.
You
I'm
could
using it.
set it up so the paddles trigger the command
No.
so to generate the tone. So you
There's
don't-
no
John,
direct link between
relax.
the oscillator and
Relax. This is separate.
Okay.
So that you hold the key down, you hold the command key down, that opens the mic up, and then you go ahead and press it. Yeah. Okay, let's open it up and let's, yes, go ahead.
When I start up, I get a notice that there's an update available. And
If you're
updated.
using a Windows machine, I would recommend just go ahead and use the update. It'll automatically reload the program. It'll turn the program off, do the update, and reload the program, and you'll have the current version of it. If you get too far behind the current version, that you may start getting some squirrely things happen.
Am I gonna have to
Does it
set
retain
up
settings?
if I-
No. You don't have to set it up. It's just
Click
gonna.
the OK, it takes less than 10 seconds to
Yeah.
do this update, and everything is transparent in the
Right.
background.
Yeah,
As soon
everything
as it's done,
is
it
just
says
the way
it's
it
done,
was
and you can
before.
start doing your thing.
Now the Apple, I'm not absolutely sure about because I'm not familiar with the Apple.
I did.
Yep.
But we upgraded this Apple the other night.
We tried, but we didn't.
Oh, we didn't? Oh, okay, we tried.
Anyway,
And now it's remember right before the
All right,
we'll deal with that later.
okay,
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on.
okay.
Okay, stand by everybody. Let's see, let me,
Okay, we got-
Resume.
okay, stand by everybody. Pete's gonna basically talk everybody through the next few steps. So this is Mel here.
We have a good turnout tonight. Thank you guys, especially Jason. If you happen to know what UTC is right now, it's about 11:15 in the UK. So Jason is staying up a little bit late to work with us. The other night, we had an extended session, and it was already the next day. It was past midnight, and he's still with us. So we have standby. Yes.
I think it's actually 12:15 there. They don't use UTC.
Good evening.
Daylight saving time
Everybody.
like we do.
What time is it, Jason?
It's actually 20 past midnight.
Okay, I got to reset my clock. Thank you, Jason. No wonder things are getting all mixed up here. Okay, well, we have Kathy, who is with us from Eureka, Montana. Good evening, Kathy.
Good evening.
And you can see the lights coming on and going on, so you know that it is actually Kathy talking. And let's see, we have Sheila from Vienna. Good evening, Sheila.
Hello, everybody.
And John from Falls Church.
Good evening, Pete and the assemblage.
So this is what we say hello, and that's about the start of it. Now, we have to do what the procedure is, and I'm going to go through the procedure, but be sure to ask me questions because this is so familiar that I'm going to skip over some major points that's it's going to help clear this up. What we do to start with is we send a series of V's that make sure that our equipment is working and that we're actually communicating through the system. That doesn't, just because we're set up, that doesn't mean that that's always going to happen. So we're going to send a series of V's, and usually I just start at the top of the list because it's the top of the list. So I'm going to start off with a V, and then, okay, and then John, we'll follow with John, and then Sheila, and right on down the line, and then we'll go back to some of our exercises. So I'm going to start with the V's here, and then John is going to say, sound really good, or you sound crappy, whatever. Hopefully it's good.
Sounds very good, right, Pete?
He's sounding very good, better than he was on Wednesday. Okay, here I am.
Sheila sounding really good. And
Sounding crystal clear.
Okay, now we've gone through, we know our equipment is working. Now we're going to go into some kind of an exercise. Depending on where we are and where everybody is in this particular group, these folks are starting out at maybe 5 words a minute, and they're learning the alphabet. So we're not going to do anything high speed, but we're going to try to get through some exercises. And we have in the past just done characters. And some of the members that you see on the screen have got together independently in the afternoon or whenever and practice their characters back and forth using the TeamSpeak program. So they practice their alphabet. So when they come around on Wednesdays, then they are that far advanced. So what we have been doing is, one of the simple exercises, which I think we can probably easily do here, is word association. One of us will send a word, and it'll be like 4 to 8 characters, something like that, nothing long. And then the next person in the sequence will send a word that is associated with that. So you can see it's rather slow. It gives us a chance to decode this. We're sending the characters at 20 words a minute, or as close as we can get to 20 words a minute. But the word speed is about 5 words a minute. So we're leaving a reasonable time in between for the folks to decode it, write it down on a piece of paper, and then get the idea to where we're going to go. I will start off with the first word, and then we'll go down to Sheila, Kathy, Jason, and then back up to John, and then we'll come back over here. So now, I've been doing a lot of talking, so what we also do at the beginning of the session, or at the beginning of sending the words, is we send 2 V's. That's kind of like a wake-up call. As you're sitting there falling asleep, here come the 2 V's, then you know you pick up your pencil and you want to start copying. Well, is that louder? Oh, I put my arm over it. Wait a minute. wait a minute. We got a technical problem here.
This one?
Oh. Is that red light on there?
Yep.
Where's our technical problem? Of course, we can do this for months on end. Well, isn't that crazy? All right, hold that button down. John, you've got the first word tonight. Somehow or another, my key broke. So, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I made a mistake. I sent that way too fast. Let me try again.
And he ends it with a K. Over.
I got it, John, the first time anyway, but, okay, let me think here.
Sheila, just why don't you go ahead and say the word.
John sent food, so now I'm gonna send my word.
Sheila said eating.
Yeah, let's see.
Jason, it's your turn.
Jason is one of the newest ones in there.
Yeah, Jason, did you get the third word? It was hungry. Hungry.
Oh, okay. Right, I'll be ready to send the next word.
Pete might have to explain why I had to resend it a couple of times.
That you don't have to.
Okay, I'm ready to send.
Okay, and then that'll go back up to John.
Okay, let's see, I think I'm next, and Jason sent drink, and I'll send another word. Well, Jason put a period at the end of it, as a matter of fact. Drink, period. Okay.
John?
Yes, Pete.
We'll stop that cycle here because you started it, and then we went around and you answered it, and we're running out of time here. And what I'm going to do now is to thank you guys very much for jumping in here. And we're going to see if there's any questions. Anybody has any questions for you? And so stay by for about 4 more minutes, and then we'll wind this up on this end here. So I'm going to get offline, but we're going to have a little discussion here in the classroom. Okay. That gives you, yes, Roger.
Well, suppose you want to listen to kiddos for a session or two without participating. Is there a protocol?
Yes.
Yeah, you just listen and say, I just want to listen, and we just go around you.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
Pete could hold the button down so we can listen.
Okay. Yes, we'll do that. Thank you. All right. The question was, what happens if I want to listen and I don't want to participate. And the answer was, just listen and don't participate. And just let me know. And then when we go through the routine, we'll just skip over you. Now, Jason did that for probably 2 or 3 weeks. And I skipped over him, I think it was last week. And he said, wait a minute, I want to send you something. And so he jumped right in there. And now he's been an active participant. So I think he took off maybe 1 week or 2 weeks where he didn't participate. And then he came right in, and now he's, obviously you can see that he is learning the code and is sending it, and we're having a nice congenial group. Any more questions? What's it gonna do to get you to join us? You know, you can go to the website. On there, Mel has written some very explicit directions on how to load TeamSpeak into your equipment. So now that you got TeamSpeak into your equipment, you need to get some way of generating a tone, a code practice oscillator, or the side tone off of your transceiver, some way to make a sound that gets into your microphone. Then when you do that, that's all you need. You got the earphones, and you have the microphone with your CPO, and then you just sit and start copying the code from some of these electronic programs that are online. And you'll find that also on our website, LCWO, AA9PW, G4FON are a number of the ones that we have. I think there's 7 or 10 different websites that you can go to that will give you the code practice learning. Also, W1AW, every night of the week and 4 or 5 times during the day, you can copy the code. The slowest code they send, I believe, is 5 words. Where's Mark? Is Mark here? 5. I think it's about 5 words a minute. But certainly, it's no faster. The slowest speed is certainly not faster than 10. So you can start off at 10, 15, 20, 25. And so that would keep you practicing. You don't need to be on TeamSpeak, but when you get on TeamSpeak, you can see there's a whole lot of benefits coming through from the different sounds. Every person's oscillator is a little bit different. Every person's fist is a little bit different. This is how you develop your techniques for copying people worldwide. So it's a lot better than doing just the canned Morse code that you get from the machines, because it's so pure and it's very straight. You need to listen to other people sending it. And when other people send it, it puts a little pressure on the sender, because you're thinking, they're gonna think this is dumb, and then you start sweating, and then you start making mistakes. And that's what we're trying to overcome, to where you feel comfortable with it. Now, beyond this, this was just a very simple exercise with word association. If you read your emails that came out, that Sheila put out, you saw that last time, and actually we've done this, we've done it many times, but most recently we've done it too, where each of us now has written out a sentence. And so now, instead of copying just a single word, we're now copying a sentence of maybe 10 or 12 letters, 10 or 12 words, and then each sentence you put it in and you try to add a little bit more to it. Then it starts teaching you to think, to create a word, create a thought, and then put that thought into a word, and then transfer that word into dits and dahs, and then everybody copies it. And you saw the text that was on there. It wasn't an altered text, that's what actually copied. It was very good. We were doing great. We're sending it 20 words a minute, character speed, and we're sending it probably 5 words a minute. Well, you heard it on here about how fast that we are going. So as time goes on, we're getting faster and faster. Now is the time to stick your toe in the water. Get in and join us while we're still at 5 words a minute. Don't join us at 20 words a minute, because you'll probably be disappointed. So join us now at 5 words a minute. We can make accommodations, but when we get up to 20 words a minute, then we'll have to start another class and bring you on board. So now's the time. And so all my friends out there in CW land and all the way in England, thank you very much for coming online, for giving us the demo, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.